Alright, here we are in the battle, and pretty much he brought actually pretty much exactly what I expected. Like literally, I was not expecting the Bower, I was not expecting the Sand Slash, and oh god, what else do you have? Whatever else he had, I actually forget. I don't have actually the mons in front of me, but wasn't really expecting anything else either. Because I pretty much knew what had a good matchup against me, and kind of how he was going to prep a bit. So actually was a bit surprises for me, as we'll see in a second. But yeah, so pretty much I was just like, okay, you know what, our hazard stack, we can do this. So I'm gonna make a bit of a warning here. This was a long ass battle, and so like right now I have this sped up. Well, I mean, because I record the battles in Citra, and the frame rate is usually about like half. It's usually around like within like 15-20 frames per second, which of course in the 3DS runs 30 FPS. So yeah, I do speed it up by half, and this battle still on my in Premiere is still telling me it's 28 minutes long. So I don't know how I'm going to do this. I'm probably gonna have to like chipmunk this or whatever, but if not, just be prepared. This might take a while. So yeah, so let's just go right into it. As alright, as there's this little cute Marowak shirt. I like it. I like the Marowak shirt. As I'm gonna lead off with Raikou as he leads off the Galvantula. Here I kind of wish I did have the Volt Switch, but yeah, I predicted the Galvantula lead. So I'm actually gonna set up sub here. I know this thing gets Bug Buzz, but I really just wanted to scout if it goes for like Volt Switch or like, I mean, either way, I should be able to get a Calm Mind here. As he just goes for the Volt Switch right away, and he does break my sub, as you see there. So yeah, it reveals this thing actually is Specs. So if he went for Bug Buzz there, that would have been bad. But thankfully he didn't. Actually, he's gonna go into the Alolan Ninetales here. And so here I was like, okay, this thing probably can't have anything to touch Torkoal. If it goes through Aurora Veil, it'll fail because I'll get the Sun Up. So yeah, we have to wait for the hail and the leftovers. That's part of why this battle is so long. Part of it. No, not the only reason. We'll see why in a second. As I actually going to switch out here and go into the Torkoal. It just seemed like a really safe switch, and I'll be able to get a sun boosted lava plume or overheat on something. And here I see. Okay, he does go for the Aurora Veil. It fails, of course. And here I could have gone for the Earth Power, predicting the Victini, but I just wanted to play it safe because I didn't know what kind of Victini this was, which is, I know, just or whether, I mean, it could have been Air Balloon for all I know. I don't know. I was thinking Caillou for the Lava Plume, and it reveals this thing actually is max HP, and it's a leftover. So I wasn't really sure what kind of Victini this was. As I'm just going to go into Rufus this time because of course in the sun, whatever he goes for, it's gonna hurt. But he revealed he is max HP, so probably isn't fully offensive. In terms of investment, as he does go for the sub here, and I was actually kind of terrified of this being a sub combined. So I'm actually going to switch right back out into the Torkoal as he goes for the Dazzling Gleam. So it reveals this thing is sub Dazzling Gleam so far. Again, I don't know what moves this has, so I think it could still be Calm Mind, but that's why I wanted to go to the Torkoal so I could just get off as many Specs Earth Powers as I can. As he goes for the Blue Flare this time, which does quite a bit in the sun, and that did. Oh my goodness, Victini, you are a strong little devil. As I'm going to break the sub here with the Earth Power. So yeah, revealed sub Blue Flare, Dazzling Gleam. So it appeared that did not actually have anything, or I don't know what the last move was, but I figured it might not have anything to hit the Suicune. However, I didn't really want to risk anything at this point, so I'm just gonna let Torkoal go down here, which is unfortunate because this thing had such a good matchup. But I was like, I didn't really want to risk losing anything else. This is Victini. As I do go into Suicune here, and I do believe I do make the double switch here into the Goodra, predicting or trying to scout for the Energy Ball. So he actually does switch out here, which reveals that he probably does not have it, or he's just saving it later because he can't Oko me. As the Snow Warning is going to come up with the. Actually, no, I do go for the Calm Mind, yeah. Okay, yeah, because I knew this thing was max HP. I knew that it probably was not max specially defensive, or max specially offensive. So even an Energy Ball would not do much at all. yeah, judging by the damage on the Torkoal, of course. So I knew that thing was likely didn't really have much to really deal with Suicune. Actually, she does go for the Aurora Veil here, and I'm actually going to go for the Scald here, I believe, because I knew he was going to go for the Aurora Veil. If you went for and Freeze Dry, even still with the is kind of weak, so even with the Calm Mind boost, it won't really be doing much at all. So I'm going to take the hail damage here, which is, yeah, not something you want, but you know. So here he's actually going to withdraw his Ninetales and go into the Galvantula. So actually do it for the Calm Mind again here, because I figured he might try to go for the Freeze Dry, or he'll go into the Tangrowth or something, and I can scout for Gator. I should have just gone for the Scald again, but yeah. So the Galvantula is going to take some hail damage, which is always welcome. Of course, with leftovers, I'm not actually taking any chip damage. So at this point, I knew this thing was Specs. So what we're going to do here actually is Protect, not only to scout for the what he's going to go for, but just to burn another turn off of Aurora Veil, as he does real with the Thunder. So yeah, so I knew that this Goodra does not want to be staying in on a Specs Thunder from the Galvantula, even with the Calm Mind boost. So I'm definitely getting the hell out of here after this recovery. So yeah, we're gonna go into Goodra this time. So Rufus can take a Thunder like it's nobody's business. As yeah, so it's gonna eat that up really nicely. However, he does get paralyzed here, which is kind of unfortunate. It does mean I can't get status by anything else, so if anything has like Toxic or a Will-O-Wisp or something, I cannot, that will not affect me. However, Paralysis, as we'll see in a second, is a bit unfortunate, as I do go for the Flamethrower this time. However, he goes into the Ninetales, so I was like, okay, we're going to get some damage off on this Ninetales. However, we get paralyzed. So, yeah, Goodra, of course, last game was the king of Parahacks, and now he's getting paralyzed himself. So, Rufus, Rufus, what you doing? I love you, man, but I mean, you gotta be a bit more consistent, man. So I'm gonna switch out this time. Of course, and the week before that, of course, he got hacked with that U-turn, of course. But so yeah, he's gonna go for the Moonblast here, which Skarmory really does not care about at all, because it is a Spidef Skarm, and this is an Alolan Ninetales with 81 base special attack. So I'm not really, I don't really care about that Moonblast at all. Skarmory's just gonna get a bit of leftovers here, and he's actually gonna withdraw into the Galvantula, because he knows that my switches to Galvantula are limited. However, I do just get the Stealth Rocks here because he is very Rocks weak. So he's going to have to force to bring in his Golbat at some point if he wants to keep his Ninetales and his Galvantula and his Victini around for long. So yeah, I'm just gonna let oh my god, the hail. It's not like Gen 4 level, but it's still it adds up. You're trying to commentate, but. So yeah, he just goes for the Volt Switch here, with Rufus eating up just fine, and he goes into the the Golbat. So here's the plan I was talking about: go into Raikou, either force this thing, and just force this thing to either choose to Roost or Defog, and pretty much just pressure it every time it comes in. So yeah, that's exactly what to do as I get the leftovers up, and that's all nice and fine. As Aurora Veil does wear off this time, so the Golbat is not going to be living a T-Bolt. So I do go into the Raikou here, like I said, and he does go for the Defog this time. And the pressure's nice too, because eventually, even if we play this switching game as much as we can, he eventually will have to run out of Defogs, and he'll do that quite quickly. But I'm not going to say whether that happens or not. Whether it happens or not, you're just going to have to find out. But that's definitely not what I wanted. Not at all, especially with the battle timer on. So I'm going to go for the sub here, because I didn't really know what the kind of Tangrowth this was. I knew it was likely coming in, but either he go to that or he goes to Garchomp. Either way, something getting an HP Ice, and I can see what something is running. So the Tangrowth actually eats up the HP Ice and actually reveals that this thing is Spidef with Saltfest by that damage. So I thought that this thing would possibly be a Koba Berry for so it could be able to deal with Pinsir. However, it reveals that he is actually the AV variant. So yeah, that was actually really good knowledge to have at this point in the game. So yeah, I'm glad I made that play. So I'm actually going to switch out here into a Skarmory, because even if she goes for HP Ice, it's not going to be doing much, because this thing revealed it has no event spin in attacking stats. So Evangel's going to come out here, and Evangel looks all screwy. I don't know. I still don't know how to solve this. It seems to be so random when it happens. I don't know. I guess it looks kind of cool. I mean, does it look cool? I think it looks cool. Nice original flair to battles. As he goes to the Volt Switch on the Goodra. And I'm just really playing it safe. Like, I have no reason not to right now. As he goes into the Garchomp, which Garchomp is all sorts of messed up right now. Again, I don't know. And I will go out into the into Suicune here, because of course I don't know what this thing's running. It could be like Fire EMZ with the Fire Blast or Fire Fang, some Swords instead. I don't know what it is. Either way, Suicune can handle it, as he goes for the rocks here actually. And of course, because Garchomp does not like ice moves, it's going to have to switch out here into and it goes into the Galvantula. I actually do go for the Scald. I predicted he was not staying in there. I just didn't really see any reason he would, so I'm just going to get the bit of extra damage off with Scald. As I'm just going to go for the Protect again, just to Scout, as he does go for the Volt Switch. And I believe I actually do go into the Raikou this time. Yes, I do. And that was just because I didn't want the Golbat, or not the Golbat. I didn't want Goodra being out, because Goodra, of course, is a bit limited. I wanted it as much HP as possible to handle the Victini. As we go into the Garchomp here, and again, like I said, I don't know what kind of Garchomp this was. I don't know if HP Ice was going to kill from there. Even if it's not Yachi Berry and it's offensive, HP Ice still doesn't kill from that range. So yeah, I didn't want anything to do with that. I should go into the Skarmory here this time, as I predicted him just go for the Earthquake, which he does. So yeah, so at this point, I believe I do go for the either switch out or go for the no, he switches out into the Victini. I believe okay, yeah, I do just go for the Stealth Rock. I considered scouting for the Fire Blast there, but I really just wanted my Rocks up at that point, and it appeared to be some sort of defensive set since it had a Stealth Rock. And I do get my leftovers off a bit, and the fact that he actually just switched into it on the Raikou means that it likely was not Life Orb, and it was probably like Yachi or something. But yeah, I wasn't really afraid of the Fire Blast at that point. So he goes for the Will-O-Wisp here. So it actually reveals the thing is not Calm Mind. So I feel a bit relieved at this point. As Victini will get some leftovers recovery. However, it does absolutely nothing. So I revealed that this thing can't really touch Suicune at all. Suicune just pretty much sets up on it. So he's going to go into his Golbat here. He's going to take a bit of damage. Actually, I forget what I believe I went for the Dragon Tail there, which would be nice. I can't remember what I went for. Oh god, that Golbat looks so bad. But again, I will just go into Raikou. That's the switch every single time when this thing is out. As he goes, as I get my pressure off, and he does go for the Fog this time, so he gets rid of his own rocks as well. But yeah, so this thing is at half HP, which is really nice because now it still can't stay in. So I do just go for the T-Bolt, because like I said, I did not want him over predicting here. If he over predicts and goes for Roost, then that's bad. So I absolutely could not let that happen. So I just do go for the T-Bolt here, as the Tangrowth is going to take a negligible damage, because of course it has Regenerator, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to get my leftovers back up a bit, as I do go into the Skarm here again, as he predicts me. I guess he predicted me to go in the Pinsir there, as he goes for the Rock Tomb. Actually, so Rock Tomb and Earthquake was revealed so far on this thing. Just gonna get my leftovers up a bit. I do go, of course, for the rocks, because you know that is the play. As it goes into Victini this time, as the Stealth Rocks are up. So Golbat again having to take more rocks damage next time it switches in. So I'm perfectly okay with that. As the Victini is gonna get some more leftovers. So this thing's almost back to full. But like I said, it can't touch Suicune at all. So I'm not really scared of this thing much. As yeah, I do switch out, and I go into Suicune this time. Oh god, this battle, I still have so much left to commentate over. Oh my god. As he's gonna go for the Substitute. And so I'm just like, yeah, that's That's all cool. You do that. You do that, Victini. Suicune does not care about your sub, as he actually does switch out because I can just set up Calm Minds all day. So I believe I actually do click Calm Mind there. Yeah, I do. And really, just because if for some reason he decides not to go into the Tangrowth, then I'm just going to get up as many Calm Minds as I really want. So I'm going to go for Protect. Scout where it's going to go here because I have not seen its Grass move yet. It reveals that it is the Power Whip. So yeah, so I can't stay in against this thing. I'm going to have to switch out because I don't want to take any Power Whips as I go back into Skarmory here. As he does go for the Power Whip, predicting me to stay in, which is probably a good play because many players would actually stay in there with the Calm Mind boost. But I am not one of those players. So yeah, I'm just going to get the leftovers up. And I actually do get another or more hazards here as he is into the Garchomp. Actually, no, I might have just gone for the Whirlwind. That might have been the case. Yeah, or the Roar, I mean. I do go for the Roar because I figured he might go into Golbat there, and if he does, then he just dies to Rocks next time he switches in. So actually, he is in that position now. So either he defogs and pretty much loses next time he switches in this Golbat, or he roosts. So yeah. So again, my play here was just to go into Raikou. Actually, as he does, alright, God, this turn takes so long. Actually, does decide to go for the roost this time. So rocks are still up. That Golbat still looks really weird. I'm sorry for that. I know some people think it's cool. I just think it's like, I like quality content, man. So he does go into the Garchomp this time. I could have predicted there and go for the HP Ice, but I didn't really see the point. Like I said, I don't want to give that Golbat any chance to defog. So yeah, I'm going to switch out again and go into Skarmory because it's pretty much my play every time. As he does predict that this time, it goes for the Fire Blast, which I knew he could have, but that's not a 2 KO. However, he does get the burn, so that was a really unfortunate burn. It's still not a 2 KO either way, but it makes this such a more difficult matchup with this thing because I'm not getting leftovers recovery this time. So yeah, really unfortunate for me there, but as he goes for it again, I'm just gonna roost up here. As he does get like a high roll there, I believe. So at this point, I was like, he could crit, and I really don't want to risk losing Skarmory at this point because Skarmory is really, really important to get up more hazards later. So I decided let's not mess around with this anymore. And like I said, I could possibly stall its Fire Blast, but there's really no point. As he goes into his Galvantula here, which is going to take Rocks damage. So this thing dies the next time it switches into Rocks, which I'm perfectly okay with actually. As I do go into the Suicune this time, as I get that pressure off. As I do go for the Protect there because of course we're going to scout what this thing is going to do, so I can decide my next switch. Just as I go for the Volt Switch there. So yeah, I'm just going to switch out with Suicune and go into Raikou here because I do not want Golbat coming in because of course if Golbat defogs at this point, then he has another chance to bring in Galvantula. The next time he brings in Galvantula, however, it's dead. So yeah, I want to be able to limit his options here. As he goes back into the Chomp, and Chomp's gonna take rock damage still, which is all right. So I'm okay with that anytime. I actually do go into Suicune here. I do believe, yes, I do. I felt there's no reason risking him going for a Fire Blast again, in case Garchomp, or in case I bring in Skarmory. As he goes for the middle ground play for the Rock Slide, it misses, but it wouldn't really do much anyway. So he's gonna switch out here into his Tangrowth. As I do go for the Calm Mind again. Like I said, I'm really just trying to pressure him. I'm trying to pressure him into going into a Tangrowth every time because if Tangrowth is in, then I have a free switch into Skarmory. So he does go for the Power Whip here, which do absolutely nothing because it's a Tangrowth and I am a Skarmory. Tangrowth for some reason does not have any graphical glitches for whatever reason. I don't know why. You go, Tangrowth. Yeah, so I'm just going to actually roost off here. I knew he could predict that, possibly go for the Earthquake, but I knew it wouldn't be doing that much, so I decided to just go for Roost anyway. Get a little bit of HP back, since I can, as he does go for the Earthquake this time. as it really does not do that much at all. So if I had leftovers, it would have been much nicer. But no, the burn has to do its thing. So and I also know that his other moves hit me as Rock Tomb. I really don't know what his last move is at this point. I don't think he ever revealed it, but he does withdraw this time and goes into the Garchomp, which is a-okay. So I'm just gonna get up a layer of spikes here. So yeah, Garchomp not a Garchomp. I really don't want to stay in against this thing, but pretty much the spikes, getting up spikes is really kind of nice. So here I do switch out and I go into the Suicune, and so he's really kind of limited here in what he can do at this point, as I believe he does actually predict the Calm Mind. We'll have to wait for this animation here. The Earthquake really does not do that much at all. So Suicune really bulky. So I'm free to just go for the Ice Beam here actually, as he has to switch out yet again, as he goes into the Golbat this time. And I actually do get the, I think I did predict him to go into Golbat here this time, as I do go for the Ice Beam, which actually does not take it out. However, because I'm EV to outspeed this thing, and I'm hoping he did not predict that and like try to speed creep something else, but turns out he didn't, and I'm able to go for the Scald. So the Golbat is down. So really probably the main turning point in this Stallfest of the match with this Golbat going down, because at this point now I'm just free to come in with Skarm, and once the all the spikes are up, the spikes are up, he cannot remove them at this point. So he's going to go into the Tangrowth here and take a bit of spikes. And of course I do not want to switch in, or I want to stay in this thing. So I'm just going to Skarmory again, because every time I switch in Skarm on Tangrowth, I get another spikes up easily. Like it's just a free switch every single time. As I'm going to get the leftovers up, and yeah, everything's all nice. So yeah, that means the Galvantula is dead the next time it's in, which means that his main check to Skarm is now gone. So I do get the spikes here, as he does go for the Rock Tomb this time, possibly predicting the Pinsir, I'm not sure, but what that means for me though is that I get the slower Roost, so that means he cannot hit me super effectively with Earthquake anymore. So I was okay with that. So I believe I do go for the Roost here, as we're gonna let this turn drag on a bit more. Yeah, as he does withdraw this time and goes into the Victini, which is going to take quite a bit from hazards, which I am perfectly okay with, as I do go for the Roost, which is great. So Skarmory going all the way back to full pretty much, or close to full, because gets burned. The Victini is gonna get some leftovers. I get my leftovers. We're gonna let that go back up this battle. Ugh, it takes so long. Wi-Fi is fun, but sometimes it just takes so long. Man's gonna switch out here into Rufus. Actually, I knew this thing couldn't touch Suicune, and it does have the Dazzling Gleam. However, I did not want to go into it because I didn't want to get burned. Because once the Suicune gets burned, then it loses its leftovers recovery, and in case it comes into play later, I did not want that to happen. And Goodra at this point really was not necessary. It was not a win con, because everything else hits it pretty hard. So you just go for the Dazzling Gleam here, as super effective, but I get paralyzed. So Goodra still unable to get a move off in this match, as the Victini is gonna get some more leftovers recovery. As here I'm actually trying to go for the Dragon Tail here, because once this Victini switches out, then it dies to hazards the next time it comes in, hopefully. So it goes for Dazzling Gleam again. I knew I could live this thing. I do on 5 HP, and I do get the Dragon Tail off. So Rufus finally able to come through there. So yeah, the Victini is dead the next time it's in, which is wonderful. As he goes into the Chomp this time, as he takes a bit of hazard damage, which is a-okay. I'm never gonna complain about that. As I want to preserve my differential a bit, because of course differential is important in a playoff race. So I go into Suicune, because Suicune can take literally anything from this thing. As he does go for the Earthquake, which is fine. And here I believe I do go for the Ice Beam, because either he stays in and like tries to get a Rocks or something and he dies, or he switches into Tangrowth and gives me a free switch into to Skarm. So any scenario here is good for Suicune. So he does decide to stay in and go for the Earthquake, and I'm just being able to easily take this thing out with the Ice Beam, So yeah, so there's Chump. Bye bye Chump. And yeah, so things are still looking really good. Is gonna get some more recoveries as he goes into his Ninetales this time. So Ninetales gonna take some hazard damage, which is all right. I'm okay with that. But so here, of course, with freeze dry from this range, probably will kill. So I did not want to stay in and deal with that. So I do go into my my Skarm this time because I'm pretty much at full. I can take whatever this thing wants to throw at me. So it goes for the freeze dry, which does a bit, but applies some spit off, so it doesn't really do much. As I'm going to take, I'm actually going to be losing HP here because of the burn, and the hail does more than leftovers gives me back. So I am losing HP here. Probably the play here was just to roost. However, I wanted to get that last layer of spikes up because once I do that, then that means this Ninetales can't switch in again, and yeah, so I wanted to keep this Ninetales from switching in again at all costs, because yeah, that's always an optimal play. But yeah, it does reveal the HP fire there, and of course I can't take two of those, especially with the passive damage on me right now. So I actually do sack Gudra here. Because I mean it's really my only player. I didn't really want to risk anything else at this point. There just was not worth risking anything, because this thing could potentially be pretty spook. I'm not sure if I'm not really sure if Pinsir could live free. I'm pretty sure Pinsir can leave a freeze dry, but anyway, I just wanted to make the safe play here, and that actually is going into Raikou as I get the pressure off, and so I can just take this thing. Either I fail to take it out with T-Bolt, or it drops it to a point where Pinsir can just clean it up with Quick Attack. So yeah, Ninetales is going to go down here as I do get buffeted by the hail. So yeah, I have 3 layers of Spikes up, Stealth Rock, Ninetales is gone, and 2 of his Mons Jide Rocks. So all that's left here is pretty much Tangrowth versus the world. And of course, since this thing has no way of recovery, then it's pretty much, if I can just get a safe switch into Pinsir, it's GG. So I do go into Skarmory here, as he goes for the Power Whip here, and I at this point I probably should have gone to Pinsir. I knew that Pinsir could take a Rock Tomb. However, like I don't know, I was scared. Maybe he had like something else. He didn't realize 4th move. Maybe he was EV to like be faster than Pinsir after the speed drop. I don't know. I was kind of, I mean, I don't know. I was a bit afraid. I probably shouldn't have been. I probably just should have gone with Pinsir there, because return does kill at that point. But so yeah, we're actually gonna play a bit of a game here, as it is with Earthquake, and because this thing can't really touch me and everything else dies to hazards anyway, I just decided to Whirlwind this thing out, or roar this thing out, because of course it won't get all its HP back due to Regenerator. So it'll help a bit, as he does go for the Rock Tomb here, predicting the Pinsir. So yeah, so now I do now have the slower roost, but I'm just gonna go for Roar here, as he's forced to go into the Victini, and the Victini is going to drop to hazards. So bye-bye Victini. So there goes Victini. And because he doesn't want to take more damage on Tangrowth, because he's not going to be able to get a gain with Regenerator, he's just going to sack off the Galvantula. So there goes the Galvantula, and now here comes back in Tangrowth. This is going to take a bunch of hazard damage again. And at this point, really my only way of winning here with Skarmory end was Timer Stall. So I was like, you know what? I don't need to do this. Let's go into Pinsir. There is no point in trying to let this match run out any longer. So because this thing, I know this thing is not running any speed. I don't know what I was thinking before, but there was no point. So I am just going to Mega up here with Pinsir. Finally, Pinsir being brought in on the very last turn. And he's going to click return, and that's going to be GG. So a 4-0 in my favor. Skarmory really putting in work with those hazards, and so Suicune and Gudra just coming in, taking hits. So yeah, oh my god, probably the longest Wi-Fi battle of my life. That was just a marathon of stall, and I'm sorry you had to witness that, everyone, but that was really just the best way I was going to win. And ended up working out. My strategy ended up working out, and we do get the 4-0, as we are now 4-3 and with a +8 differential, which actually puts us second behind Leo and the Moon Division. I'm pretty sure it's impossible to catch up with him at this point, but we were the only win against him, so fun fact. But yeah, so things are looking good. Next week we face Trev, not this Trev. Actually, Trev CL is not. He's not even really Trev. But whatever. We face Trev next week. Of course, we beat him in the GPC last week, which actually pretty much was the pivotal playoff game then. So we have another pivotal playoff game against Trev, twice in 3 weeks. So can you imagine that? So that'll be a fun one. That'll be the regular season finale. If we win, automatically we are in the playoffs. There's still other scenarios where we can make it even if we lose, but ideally the goal is to win and yeah, get in the playoffs to my first season of the TBU. So that'd be absolutely amazing. So yeah, we'll just have to see how that happens. Our goal of winning the last 3 is 2/3 of the way there. We're trying to complete this comeback here. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Tynamos are for real. And I will see you in the next video, and goodbye.